Take a look at this article. Fire clouds and ember attacks. How Australia's fires are creating rare weather phenomena. Intense and voracious fires are interacting with the atmosphere and creating their own weather, including lightning, which can cause new wildfires. You need to Google "do energy weapons" and see what that looks like, because in this article, they're normalizing fire clouds and lightning, and it's not normal. Because if it was, it would have been happening years ago. But of course, they're blaming climate change. Australia's wildfires, unprecedented in their size and severity, are so intense they are setting off a series of bizarre phenomena, including fire-driven thunderstorms, fire clouds, and so-called ember attacks. Smoke from the fire is still affecting quality and visibility across Australia. Priority today is turbocharge and recovery process. Look at where the fires are. They are along the edges of Australia. And look up the high-speed train that they are trying to put in Australia. This could be a land grab. Australia is not yet in the clear. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who faced harsh criticism for not addressing the link between country's wildfires and climate change, warned that the fires will continue to burn for months to come. New South Wales Rural Fire Service reported there are still 69 uncontained fires in that state alone, which remains severe. There are places where flames have been 70 meters, 230 feet high, 1,000 degrees Celsius, and they're once again blaming climate change. These intense, voracious fires are interacting with the atmosphere, creating their own weather, including lightning, which can cause new wildfires, she added. Fire-driven thunderstorms typically occur when columns of smoke and heat draw in moisture from the atmosphere, creating an enormous pyrocumulonimbus or fire cloud. So they're normalizing clouds of fire. So if you all of a sudden look up in the sky and there's a bright red cloud, that's normal now. It's all because of climate change. We're supposed to believe that. Dramatic footage showed an ember attack, and there is footage of an attack which looks like a do energy weapon to me, but they're trying to normalize us seeing things like that and just thinking, oh, that's one of the lightning fire things that they talked about on the news, but not necessarily. Lightning fire phenomena. Fire clouds also funnel smoke, tiny particles known as aerosol, and think about chemtrails and what the airplanes are spraying out there. Highly flammable materials. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reported Monday that one of the Earth-watching satellites spotted smoke from the Australian fires drifting over South America and New Zealand as skies turned haunted orange hue as the wildfire smoke crossed the Tasman Sea and wafted over the North Island. Through the impact of climate change on fire clouds is still a nascent field of research. Scientists are concerned that climate change could make fire-induced storms. So they're normalizing fire-induced storms. It's not okay. Particularly, global warming drives more intense fires. They're talking about fire clouds. So, yes, normalize and do energy weapons is exactly what this NBC News article does.
Tonight, cool weather and rain bringing some relief, but not nearly enough to stop this. The sky so thick with smoke, this is what pilots saw this weekend when they tried to evacuate people from areas cut off by flames. With dozens of fires still burning out of control, more help is on the way, including dozens of American firefighters, the first group of them arriving today, to join Australian crews who are mostly volunteers at front lines and in control centers. Tim Klukas and Robin Wills among the experienced Americans who came last month. The scale of the devastation here, staggering. At least 25 people dead, an estimated 500 million animals affected.
The magnitude of it and the scale of so many large simultaneous fires destroying property at one time is extremely unique, and I've never seen anything like this in 30 years of fighting fire.
Flames so powerful they can form their own weather. On the weekend, one massive fire jumped a river, igniting new fires that expanded the danger zone.
It's a changing fire environment. I think that's something that we really share with the Australians. We've experienced that in the last 15 to 20 years in the western United States.
Years of drought that experts link to climate change has left much of the landscape looking like this, with fires now closing in from all directions.
Tonight, strong winds and unstoppable flames. Fires on Kangaroo Island so powerful they stir up fire twisters of their own. And close to Nowra, a bushfire jumped over the river, igniting a new blaze that triggered a warning to seek shelter or get out.
We've got sprinklers set up on the roof.
Donna and Jamie Duba are staying put, at least for now.
We've covered all bases and we've got backup plans and safe zones.
And if need be, if you have to leave, you leave.
We get in the car and go.
Yeah.
Bushfires have burned more than 12 million acres here, an area 40 times the size of Los Angeles, spewing a smoky haze that's visible from space. Army reservists helping with evacuations and supplies.
There's a very clear connection between global warming and wildfires and drought.
An estimated 500 million animals have died. The lucky ones rescued and cared for at sanctuaries across the state.
There's a little girl.
You're amazing.
Where orphaned wallabies, wombats, and other wildlife can recover, but will struggle in habitats that are wiped out.
Smoke inhalation is a huge concern.
Yes, it is. And the other thing is when they come out, there's no food around for them. No water, no food.
On social media, celebrities are posting messages of support and pledging donations to local fire services with a long, hot summer ahead.
There are nearly 200 fires burning now. The air is filled with smoke and ash. The forecast, though, is calling for cooler temperatures and the possibility of some much-needed rain.
Here's an interesting post on Facebook. Why is Australia on fire? Why is a question people don't ask anymore? Why is that? Are people too busy to want the truth? Do people care? Are people ignorant? Do people no longer think outside the box or want to solve problems? Or am I just different? While everyone else is walking around like a soldier ant following the other ants without any idea of what's actually happening in the world. Let's try something new. I'm going to ask some questions for you, but I'm not going to answer them. When I give people the answers, some believe I make them up, some just ignore. I'm going to leave this to you guys. Here's 10 questions regarding the current fires in Australia. What are your answers? 1. Why did the government cut funding for NSW Fire and Rescue by 35.4% and NSW Rural Fire Service by 75.2%? 2. Why, when government was approached by 23 fire experts to share their concerns about what was really coming, were they denied a meeting? 3. Why was the Prime Minister conveniently out of the country when the fire started, and why did he not immediately return? 4. What is Clara, and why were they paid part of $20 million? 5. What was the meaning of the 3 past governments all spending a total of $60 million to study the feasibility of a super train from Melbourne to Brisbane? 6. Did you know that Labour, Liberal, and the Green have all agreed to spend $114 billion on said super train? They were all advised to start purchasing the land ASAP as it will go up in price, especially in the areas that may become new estates and others start building on it? 7. Who promised the government they would make a lot more money back if they can pick up cheap rural land and then build cities near the new train line and sell it back for a lot more money? 8. How did over 80 fires all burn at one stage in 3 different areas? And firemen say such quotes as, "It's like an atomic bomb. This is different than any kind of fire. Something on the ground and air is increasing this." 9. Why did the government not ask any other country for assistance, even though assistance in the means of firefighting planes were ready to come? 10. Why are so many of these fires in the exact same corridor as where the new train line and new cities are meant to be built? I hope some of you have fun finding out the answers to these questions. I've got mine. In no way is this post meant to be offensive to any person who has lost a family member or their homes due to these terrible fires. Much respect to everyone that's trying to stop them and donating to everyone that needs help. What we need to also do, though, is question the narrative and ask the questions and discover the truth before it's too late and nobody has any control or power left. Here's an article at military.com. The U.S. Air Force has unprecedented power to direct energy in a way that serves, protects, and champions freedom. From powerful electromagnetics to electro-optics, they are always exploring new ways to give our war fighters the upper hand. Harnessing the power of the electromagnetic spectrum to enable airmen to effectively and affordably strike critical targets at the speed of light. Direct energy also enables experimentation, prototyping, and exploration of material and non-material solutions that align with force capabilities and strategies. Learn more. Directed energy. Harnesses the power of electromagnetic spectrum to enable airmen to effectively and affordably strike critical targets at the speed of light. Look at this. Counter swarm high power weapon. Tactical high power operational responder. Thor. What is it? Thor is a counter-swarm electromagnetic weapon the Air Force Research Laboratory developed for defense of air bases. The system provides a non-kinetic defeat of multiple targets. It operates from a wall plug and uses energy to disable drones. Thor is the first in its kind. System slows completely in. Read more. Space situational awareness. Freedom to move in space is critical. Space and cyberspace. High power electromagnetics. Wow, that looks like the inside of a computer. High power microwave offers warfighter innovative technologies that enable a variety of low collateral damage military applications that will allow warfight to achieve the counter electromagnetic effects. Laser systems. In general, laser weapons often warfighters' unique opportunities for quick and precise target engagement, flexibility, and lighter and more responsive support logistics. Somewhat of the capabilities make lasers attractive for operational users are: you can burn down an entire country and no one will know you did it. Precise target engagement. So make sure you can get the exact area of the land that you need to grab for your high-speed rail system. Speed of light delivery. Yeah, we can blame it on the lightning. Multiple target engagements and rapid retargeting. Deep magazines. Low incremental cost per shot. Exceptional accuracy and adjustability, low logistical support requirements. Anyway, it's all right here. You can research it. It's real stuff. And people need to open their eyes. Mapping Australia's high-speed rail routes. High-speed rail has been on the agenda for every Australian government since 1984, but no project has ever made it past the advanced planning stages. With the Clara consortium looking to use the transport as part of its $75 billion Smart Cities proposal, we can at least see Australian high-speed rail come to fruition. Here we map out some of the potential high-speed rail routes in that country. Every populated continent is home to some form of high-speed rail network except for Australia. The introduction of the bullet train in Japan in 1964 captured the world's attention, and many countries, notably China, Spain, Germany, and France, have followed suit with their own takes on high-speed rail systems. The idea of uniting Australia's eastern seaboard through high-speed rail has been floated since the early 1980s, with every federal government from 1984 to the present day investigating its feasibility. The 2017 federal budget allocated $20 billion over the next 10 years to investment in the rail industry, with this figure rising even higher in 2018. The East Coast is almost exclusively seen as the preferred location for any potential such projects. Sydney to Melbourne is the world's second busiest air corridor, and using rail to reduce air traffic makes both economic and ecological sense if the appropriate infrastructure can be set up. But with the sheer size of the undertaking presenting a mammoth engineering challenge, the question remains, what form would modern Australian high-speed rail network take? Consolidated Land and Rail Australia, Clara, is a private property development consortium that has announced a $75 billion plan to build 3 smart cities on the east coast of the country, with even more planned in order to decentralize the Australian population away from large cities to smaller, more sustainable, high-tech inland cities. While the project is not purely about high-speed rail, Clara believes this is the best possible method for contacting the plan and transforming Australia. The company has identified a Melbourne to Sydney route via the Shepparton and Canberra as the most viable. Elevated tracks would most likely be used in order to minimize the impact on landowners. Anyway, you guys can read this for yourself about Clara. This is at railwaytechnology.com. Oh, look. No discussion of high-speed rail would be complete without the mention of some form of Elon Musk's futuristic Hyperloop proposal. And sure enough, Australia has been earmarked as a potential site for an ultra-high-speed Hyperloop type concept through the chances of becoming a reality look to be slim. Ultra Speed is the name of Australia's Hyperloop offering, with plans being put forward to travel network between Sydney to Brisbane via Tamworth and Toowoomba, with second route proposed between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So they're really working hard on this high-speed railroad, and they want to create smart cities, and they have extra funding to do this. All they need is the land. So is it making sense to everybody yet? Operating on the North Coast Railway line in Queensland between Brisbane, Bundaberg, and Rockhampton, the electric tilt train service is the name of 2 high-speed tilting trains. Speed rail, inland rail. So these are the areas where the train is being built and the smart cities are being built, and now you just gotta look at where the fires are happening and connect the dots.